Hello and welcome to episode number 41 of the Knitting Teaspoon podcast. I'm Liesbeth, your host, and this is a podcast which is all about knitting, sewing, crochet, well, kind of all the fibery crafts that you can think of, as long as I'm up to it. Usually that is knitting. It's been a pretty weird week after being ill for 3 weeks until last episode. I finally got back to work this week and I've been taking it easy, so I have not been doing that much of crafting, and I've only been working on one project this week. And apart from that, there will be a giveaway, and there's been an unfortunate thing that I've come across this week. So that's a short introduction of what's been going on in this week. But first of all, I'm wearing today an Agnes top, one that I've sewn, I think, while this podcast was already going. And on top of that, I'm wearing a tunic, and I'm not really sure what the tunic name is. I think it's something like Tunika met shawl. I think that only means like a tunic with a round yoke in Norwegian. So it's a Sandnes pattern. It probably has some kind of number, but I completely forgot. I bought this pattern along with the yarn back in, I think, 2014, 15 maybe, I don't know. Anyway, I was in Norway on a road trip there, and I've called it my road trip to Norway tunic. I haven't knit a single stitch on it while I was there, but when I got back home, I think even got back home to the Netherlands, because I lived in Sweden for a while back then. I started on it, and it was a nice memory of the trip to Norway. And the yarn is actually also from Sandnes, and I think it's Sandnes alpaca. I'm not really sure if that's the name of it, but I've used up every last scrap of it, so I don't think I have the label anymore, but it's probably on my Ravelry page if you're interested. In 4 different colors, and these colors, they make me so happy. They kind of remind me of the chocolate mocha cakes, and oh my god, I don't drink coffee, and I don't particularly like the taste of coffee, but mocha beans, oh my, I love those. Anyway, this is not a chocolate mocha podcast. This is a knitting podcast mostly. This week I've only been knitting on the one project that I've been working on, and it is my Sockyarn blanket, and this is what I've been working on, well, even this morning. Oops, I'm showing you the wrong side. You can see that I still need to weave in a lot of ends. So I finished the square that I was working on last week. There were some ambulances going by. I'm not sure if you could hear that, but I finished last week's square, and now this square is almost done. I mean, I'm on the last part of this square, last color at least, and it's also the biggest part, but it's coming along nicely. It's very colorful. I like that. Last week's square turned out, it seemed to start off very grey and grim, but it turned out quite colorful in the end, because all of the neutrals, they were already used in the center, and the center pieces are relatively small, so in the end it turned out quite colorful anyway, because after the 4 gray tones there had to be 3 colors on the edges. So and with last week's square I've been quite good, because I decided to start weaving in ends, and I did, and I'm quite happy with that, because I've been going through my pile of squares. So I have a few more squares here, so there's 4 more squares, of which I've had the thing, wow, wonderful word, of which I had the ends woven in. So there you go. right side, wrong side, ends woven in. And yet again here also ends woven in. I like this one. These colors are just very pretty. They're all the same colors, but still, yeah. Also here ends woven in. So I'm quite pleased that I've managed to get into the job of weaving in ends, because I don't know about you guys, but weaving in ends is, it may have that thing that once I've done this I'm really ready to use my project kind of feel to it. But if you're working on a project that just has this many ends to weave in and not just on a single square, but just like here's another one that doesn't have the ends woven in, and another one that doesn't have the ends woven in. Yeah, it just gets me kind of frustrated. I don't want to do it because it's just too much work, and weaving in ends is not my biggest hobby. That's not why I like knitting, for sure. Yeah, I've been pretty good. And I was quite surprised to find that there were already 5 of these squares finished with ends woven in. So there's actually only 3 squares that still need the ends woven in, plus the one that's on the go, but I didn't expect the ends of this one to be woven in while I was knitting on it. And then there's just one more square, and then I'll be on 3/4 of my blanket, and only need to finish the center square part. And yeah, I know that just working on one project isn't that exciting, and especially not if it's a project that you've been working on for 1.5 years, but yeah, it just feels right to work on this project, and I've been taking it easy. This is a very easy project, so usually I just roll the dice and don't know what happens with the next color for a blanket square, but I've also decided to take this with me to work so that I could work on it on the train ride to my work and on the train ride home. And that has meant that yeah, I needed to kind of prepare, and I have all the colors except for the red one, which is currently not in the bag. In this bag, but this bag is like kind of big to bring along every day to work, just so that I can really roll a random dice. So I've just rolled the die a few times before I went to work, so that I just, well, always took 3 colors with me, I think, so that I knew that I would definitely have enough to knit on during the train ride, and then on in the evening I would switch out the colors that I wouldn't need anymore and take a few new ones in a smaller project bag. So yeah, that would be somewhat easier for my backpack, in which I also need to carry some other stuff for work and my lunchbox. And it's holidays now, I forgot my lunchbox. It's still at work. Yeah, not very nice. Anyway. So yeah, another square almost finished, and 1 square finished this week, and that's been all of the knitting that I've done. I have done a little bit more spinning that I was working on also last week, but really I'm still working on the same single. I have only worked on that on Sunday, I believe, and it hasn't changed that much since last week, so I'm not gonna take it off the wheel again and show it to you. But of course I will once I've finished doing the entire thing. But I don't think there's much more to show you compared to what I've shown you last week. Then there was one thing that was a little bit unfortunate this week that I came across, because I've been going to work and I completely forgot to tell you. Last Sunday we had snow. We had snow in the Netherlands. I think almost everywhere in the Netherlands, but I'm not 100% sure. But my family lives a bit spread across the country, and the country is not very big. compared to many other countries. There are definitely smaller countries also, but yeah. I think most of the Netherlands received a small layer of snow, like 2 to 3 centimeters or about an inch of snow, and we had a nice white blanket. Unfortunately, it melted away in one day, but then again, I was quite lucky because it was on a Sunday and I didn't need to go anywhere on a Sunday. So, yeah, and on Monday I could go back to work and the roads were nice and not slippery and everything, which is nice if you have to cycle to the train station. But yeah, I've been wearing a higher socks the past few days, so I have the ones that I've completed during this podcast. I have 2 pairs of knee-high colorwork socks, but I also have some that are slightly less detailed, and one of them is this pair of socks. I think this might actually be like one of my first toe-up pairs of socks, so I didn't do the heel flap and gusset adjustment here yet. I did already do some kind of how do you call that, a short row heel, but this might have been my first pair of toe-up socks. I'm pretty sure that I bought this yarn when I was on holiday in Austria, although I may have purchased it in Italy because we were very close to the Italian border. I'm not sure where this, well, I remember the shop but not the town where it came from. I think it might have been Südtirol, so in Italy. Anyway, but here's the unfortunate thing. There is a gap in my sock, and I'm not sure if I've torn something or if a moth has found its way to my socks. It seems like there's only a few stitches that are actually broken, so I might have just pulled it on my bicycle or something. Like if you're parking your bike and there's like all kinds of other bikes parked around it, then yeah, there is a chance that you actually stick somewhere, that you get stuck somewhere at this height on your leg, actually basically any height on your legs. And I've also managed to tear a hole in my coat that way not too long ago, which I've stitched up later. Not very pretty though, just very basic. Anyway, so yeah, a hole in my sock, which I still need to finish, but I think it's quite unfortunate because for these socks I remember distinctly trying to knit up the entire skein. So I'm not sure if I still have any leftovers that are the right color to, you know, fix the gap, because I'm definitely not throwing these socks away. I'm gonna fix them. They've been way too much effort to just throw them away. Yeah. So I did fix socks before. I think my boyfriend is better at tearing holes in his socks, or maybe there's been a moth in his sock drawer or something, or they like the smell of his feet better than mine. I don't know what it is. But he's had some holes in his socks in the past, but I don't think I've had many holes in my socks. So yeah, this is a bit of a sad moment for me. Anyway, it's been quite a cheerful week. I have 2 weeks off now to celebrate Christmas, although yeah, I'm not going to do anything special really for Christmas, except for visiting both my parents and my boyfriend's parents. If you can hear this, this is one of my pets in the background gnawing away at the how do you call it, the roof of his cage. So he likes to climb a lot. I've given him some toys to climb in, and he's been climbing to the top part of his cage and then gnawing away on it. I don't really like it. Anyway, there was also a giveaway this week, and you guys had until yesterday, until midwinter, when we celebrate the winter solstice, which is not really something that's celebrated a lot in the Netherlands, but I do celebrate it because I think it's nice to actually celebrate something that has to do with nature. So we celebrate that the days are getting longer again here in the Netherlands, and of course in the southern hemisphere that will mean that the days will be getting shorter. But yeah, I live in the northern hemisphere. So last week there have been 2 entries for the giveaway for the Biscuit Hat, which I just realized that I hadn't got with me, so I picked it up. It's been on my stash for hats that I actually wear outside. So yeah, here it is. I'll put it on again. It's nice and slouchy and warm, so I've enjoyed wearing it also to work this week. Yeah, especially because it's been raining quite a bit, so if the one hat that I usually use is wet, then it's nice to be able to switch at least between 2 hats, and they have at least a full day to get dry. But I've had 2 entries for the giveaway, and I thought it is such a small giveaway that I just decided to announce you both as the winners for the giveaway. So CJ Jane Goodwin, Zara Jane, I know you, and JAB, please get in touch with me on Ravelry to let me know that you've seen this episode and that you've won. And also, you know, JAB, I'm sorry, I'm not sure who you are on Ravelry, so yeah, just get in touch with me and I will gift you the pattern as quickly as possible. That is, you know, I have some other appointments the coming week. I have a holiday, so I actually have more time to be on Ravelry than usual. But yeah, can't check my Ravelry every minute of every day, obviously. But I just want you to get in touch with me first to let you know that you've won. And yeah, then I will send out the pattern as quickly as possible, because also, of course, I want you to have time to knit it while it's still winter or colder season or whatever. I mean, I know that not everyone has as cold a season as we get, but we've had snow. Oh, I really like snow. If it wasn't really obvious. I don't particularly like cycling through snow. I was actually planning on walking to the train station the next day, but the snow was already gone, so I didn't have to. Yeah, but snow just feels so magical to me. That's really nice. Anyway, so yeah, I've talked about my one and only project this week, and I think that's everything I've had to share with you. So now the only thing that's left for me is to wish you all very happy holidays, Merry Christmas. I'm not sure. The next episode I think will still be before New Year, so I will hold off to wishing you all the best for the New Year's, but then again, maybe you won't watch this in time. So Happy New Year's in advance anyway. So yeah, happy holidays, and yeah, I hope to see you again next week. So